new coupe, paper tags, no roof, so baby, let me drop my shit. No, can't see me, nigga, can't be me, nigga, hell nah, you time, turn up shit, this ain't basic, told up, baby, let me pop my shit. Yeah, I came from the bottom of motherfucking problem, so a nigga put Prada all over my bitch. Pull up in a brand new coupe, paper tags, no roof, so baby, let me drop my shit. No, can't see me, nigga, can't be me, nigga, hell nah, you time.
Welcome to the If You Love Me podcast. I am your hostess, Mrs. AP.
And your boy paid in full stacks. You all are tuning in to our anniversary, and not just any anniversary. This is our marriage anniversary. 4 years in the making, forever to go. So we are going to go into a couple topics today, kind of basing it around marriage. We were just sitting down earlier. We went and got something to eat or whatever, and we just kind of was talking. And I asked her like, what does she think about what's too young to get married? Like, just kind of like our own personal situation is, I've been with her since I was 21 years old, right? So right now I'm 30, and I mean that's all of my 20s though. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's literally like my whole 20s were dedicated into like being in a relationship pretty much the whole time. So like, I really didn't have, a lot of I'm not gonna say like freedom necessarily, because that's not what I was looking for, because I wanted to be in a relationship, so that's why I was in a relationship. But I just mean like, the same shit that everybody else was kind of doing, like, my homies or people that I fuck with or whatever, like, they were kind of like on a different page than me, you know what I'm saying? So like, whenever we'll pop out and shit like that or whatever, of course it was like a mutual respect thing. So like, nobody would never put me in any situations that was like compromised into my relationship. But outside of that, like, it was just kind of different for me throughout my 20s than probably the average, nigga or whatever that's of my caliber and how I move, you know what I'm saying? So that was just what was kind of crazy. But yeah, what do you all think about marriage and getting married at a young age? I got married when I was actually, so let's say, what, this is 4 years, so I was 26.
Mm-hmm.
So we got married. I was 26. She was 29. So basically, you know, I feel like that's a pretty decent age. You know what I'm
And
saying?
we were
Like,
engaged for 3 years.
yeah,
3 years.
3 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that 3 year process was like, kind of like I would say more of a understanding each other and understanding the seriousness of what we wanted at that time. Like, at first we was just dating and shit like that, so it was cool.
And living together.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, we were living together, and then at that time we still had two kids at that point. So I mean, it was serious. Not saying it wasn't
Right. We
serious.
were engaged.
Yeah.
Like, we have been engaged since we were pregnant with our 6-year-old daughter. So we were already engaged while I was pregnant, but we just prolonged marriage. Like, it wasn't like a apprehensive thing. I just think like we didn't know what we were really gonna get into, but we knew that it was serious and wanted it to last. So we like didn't rush it. And so the day when we did decide to get married, it was at midnight, and we was just like, "You want to go?"
The crazy thing is this though, like, you don't really. I don't necessarily. There's definitely a right time, but I don't think that. I think people kind of like put too much emphasis on when they think the right time is, and I think that sometimes can like make a situation that could be something special end up being something that
It's forced.
forced and fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, have goals, right? So we'll like set like a time frame on our lives and say like,
Like a
well, I'm not gonna have
milestone.
kids, right? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
have kids until I'm 30. I'm not gonna get married until I'm 35. You know what I mean? Like,
Or
oh, I want to
vice
be
versa.
married, vice versa. Like, I want to be married at 30, kids by 35, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then a lot of men, they be like, oh yeah, shit, I'm gonna do everything in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that way when I'm 30, 35, so I can finally settle down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some motherfuckers don't even be ready to settle down even at 30, 35. So that's another thing, but that's another discussion.
Right.
People kind of like, they tend to want to do things, like I said, at a time where they feel like it's best for them. And I can understand that to a degree, shit in life when you try to like say it's not your time.
Or
Like that's
save
with
it for
anything.
later.
Yeah, with anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's your career, like if you're trying to do something as far as a business, you tell yourself like, oh, by 30 I wanna own a hair salon, or by 30 I wanna have a barber shop, you know, this type of thing. And it's like you could have did that at 22,
Right.
23 years old.
Or
Like,
maybe it won't happen at 30. Maybe it'll happen at 32. But
yeah.
does that mean you give up at 30
No.
because it hasn't happened yet? Like, and also the part of the discussion was, like, I felt like, just because we've been together so long and just thinking about the fact that this is our 4-year wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, we've been married for 4 years. Like, I'm 33, you're 30. We've been married for 4 years.
But
And
we've
we've been
really
together,
been together
like,
for 10 years.
yes,
now.
like going on 10 years. So it's
Yeah.
like, goodness, like, shit, it's been a long time. And I'm like, damn, like, you just about to turn 31. So like I've been dating you since you was 21. Like shit. I'm like,
She took all of my 20s.
I'm
y'all.
like,
What
did
the
I
fuck?
still?
Like, she took all my
I mean,
20s.
but he
like,
also took all of
no,
my
I'm just
20s.
joking. I'm just joking. Like, it was enjoyable.
He
but,
also
like, I ain't
took
gonna
all of
lie.
my 20s, and
Like,
then the
you know,
ending of them pregnant.
we learned
So
a lot from each other in that amount of time. I will say, like, in that amount of time, she gave me a different perspective of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something that I think that every man should look for in a woman. You know, like if you in the streets, you know what I'm saying, you a street dude or whatever the case may be, and you know you got a woman and she want better for you and don't necessarily want to like, just for example, like let's just say for instance a power situation where like how Ghost was, and then like Tasha only saw him as a drug dealer. You see what I'm saying? So like when Tasha only seeing him as a drug dealer, it made him look at her different because it's like, damn, you don't see me as nothing more. Like all you see me as this corner hustling ass drug dealer, the same person that you met me as when I was 18 or 19 years old or whatever the case may be. And then, you know, you had Angela who saw him at like that club stage, who knew him when he was younger, but kind of like saw him at that club stage, and it was kind of like a, damn, you know, you glowed up, like you really on your shit, like I like that. I feel like most street dudes want to be looked at in a bigger light. Like, don't put him in a box and just think that that's all that nigga capable of doing. Because in that sense, like, if you put that in his head and make him think that that's all he capable of doing, and then that's all his homies putting in his head and his mama putting in his head, then everybody gonna kind of follow suit, and that's how that nigga end up dead. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so adamant on living up to this image of being this street nigga or this type of person. Like, being with a motherfucker that put you in a different state of mind that make you feel like, you know, you more than just this nigga on this corner. You know what I'm saying? You more than just the nigga behind this trigger. You more than just this nigga behind this, you know, whatever. Like, whatever it is that you do, you more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're doing good, and even if, you know, like I said, you can be a person that just working a job. And let's say, for instance, you a barber. You start out in a barber shop. You more than just being a barber. You know, you're a business owner. You can have your own shop. You know, you want a motherfucker that motivates you and fuel you and make you want to be better. That's something that I feel like I got in her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she made me want different. And that type of shit made me change my life. You feel me? Because if I didn't have that, then I kind of probably would have put myself in a lot of the same situations that, you know, people that I looked up to, and, you know, motherfuckers that was my homies that didn't make it, you know, and that's not here today. So, you know, that type of shit gave me a different motivation. Having kids, you know, like I said, that gave me a different motivation as well, because it was no longer just about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that I needed to provide and take care of her. And not only that, you know, I had another responsibility on top of that, you know, and that's taking care of my kids. And that type of shit, you know, like I said, it gave me just a different light. And, you know, that's something that you want in your mate. Just us being married in these 4 years, like I said, it's been nothing but like really growth. Like, this shit really been pretty dope. I'm not gonna stunt, because every step of it has been like, you know, we ain't fighting through it. We learning through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be right. She ain't trying to be right. It's just about like understanding each other. You feel me? Like, you get beyond, you know, certain levels in relationships, and you kind of start getting to a point where you understand each other, and that's when shit start to work. And that's when shit start to, you know, be in your favor a little bit more. But you gotta know how to find that right person though. So, you know, that's just that. Don't rush it, but know when you got it, and not to let it, you know, get fucked up off of your own like personal, what you think you deserve or what you think you can have. Because everybody can have some of everything. You feel me? Like you can have bitches, you can have niggas, but is that really what you want? That's what I be really. That's the point of me saying like how young is too young to get married, and is there a certain, is there such thing as putting an age limit on it where you feel like I need to have this by this, amount of time type
Right.
shit?
I mean, I guess it's like that show, like the ultimatum with, like them. I don't think any of them were ready for marriage. I think that, sometimes even whatever age, sometimes people just go into marriage like a fantasy thing. Like they just think that like, oh, marriage is the end all do all. So like this person has to be perfect before we get married.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like nobody is perfect, and you shouldn't want them coming in absolutely perfect, because do you want to be the same person that you are today for forever? Like I'm sure you want to learn more, you want to do more. Like everybody should experience growth. It's a beautiful
And
thing.
don't settle.
And aging, like
Yeah.
like I didn't see so many posts this week, like of kids that's not even kids, because they adults, like 21-year olds, like 21, 22, 23. They swear because people 30, like we too damn old. Like they said, what was somebody say something like um y'all, something about y'all 30-year olds need to leave rap or something to the 20-year olds, like 30 is old or something. I'm like, I'm really like, at 20, I
Yeah,
thought I was
true.
the shit.
That's
But
true.
at 30, like, I'm living my best life.
You
Like,
ain't
in
you
my
ain't. The
30s,
thing
like,
is
this is the shit.
I honestly understand where motherfuckers come from when they say live to see this age, because a lot of motherfuckers was shorted. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I really do want people to understand. Like, a lot of my homies didn't get a chance to even see 21, and that's just being real. That shit ain't even like no game. Like, and it's crazy because to see myself at 30 and knowing where I was at 17, 18, 19 years old, like I never saw myself at this stage in my life. You get what I'm saying? Like to actually have shit established and a family and being the person that I am. But I think that having integrity and being like the way that I am right now is like more official. You feel me? Because then I thought I was standing on certain morals and values, but a lot of that shit needed to be unlearned. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like me too. When I was in my 20s, I thought having several niggas, hawking me was like, oh, that made me the shit. But
Yeah.
like, I feel more confident being a wife and a mom, and I'm comfortable in my skin, and I like love my 30s. Like I'm able to do more. I know more. I'm smarter. I spend my money better. Like I'm more responsible. I know my limits. It's just a lot. I communicate better. My relationships are better. It's just so much more for me to learn. So I'm very open to it. Like I remember being afraid to turn 30. And I
Yeah.
think that everybody has that. But it's just weird because 20-year-olds, like, why do they think that they're only young when they're 20? Like,
To be honest, that
like
shit is just like the tip of the iceberg. Like that's just the beginning. Like to get through your 20s to even see 30, that's when you really, really finna get ready and get in your glow, because that be the time that you done kind of had your mistakes. You done learned a little bit. You done lived a little bit. Like when you live a little bit, it's a lot better for you because now situations aren't the same in your 30s because you can learn. In them 20s, so that way when you get in your 30s, that's not no shit you repeat no more. So you know how to see that shit a mile away. Certain things that happen or people around you, or when shit just not the way it's supposed to be. Like, the mistakes I made in my 20s and being in a relationship and not knowing what I really wanted, or like I said, knowing I wanted to be in a relationship but not knowing like, damn, this is serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is a real relationship. Like that type of shit, and then being where I am right now at 30 and being married and understanding like how it is to be a father, how to be a man, and all those different type of things, I'm a way better person now. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like you got to live a little bit to kind of get to that stage, because you don't really know what the fuck going on at 21 22 years old. You just think like, I'm grown. That's all we know. Like we grown. Like fuck that. Nobody can tell me what to do anymore. I'm grown.
yes,
That's all you
that is
try to say. Like literally,
that
that's
is the
everybody.
true feeling. Like
Everybody
I am
literally,
grown.
because I'm grown. You
Hmm.
feel me? And
But
like, no, like just an age doesn't make you grown. You got a lot of motherfuckers that's 30 plus, and I promise you, they ass still act like little ass kids. like they situations, the way they talk, the way they communicate with others, like all of this shit, like the way they defend themselves. You know what I mean? Like not taking accountability, all those childish ass things. Like age doesn't mean anything. It's all about your maturity. Like something that she said to me earlier was, you know, she doesn't remember even ever asking me my age. And you know the funny thing is that she doesn't remember ever asking me my age because I never portrayed myself to be younger than who I was. You know what I mean? Like she's 3 years older than me, but in those 3 years that she older than me, that's a big thing when you thinking about at a certain age, like at being 17 and a motherfucker being 20, finna be 21. That's like that's like like, and then at that age, motherfuckers don't really like talking to people that's younger than them. But because of how I carried myself and how I, dealt with her and was communicating with her, it made her think like, well, shit, he gotta be about my age. No way in hell he couldn't be. And I mean, like I said, that's because I always had that. Like that's something that I always like. I looked up to people that were older than me. You know what I'm saying? Like I paid attention to people that was older than me. I felt like they had more to offer. Like motherfuckers my age, I feel like they didn't really have shit to offer me. Like, cause in most cases, they ass is all in the same boat. They running in circles. They following around the next motherfucker that got a little bit more than they got. Like you don't know shit, but you know a little bit more than me. So for that reason, I'ma follow you. I wasn't that type of motherfucker. I'd rather go hang with the older motherfucker that's gonna actually give me some wisdom, some knowledge, where I can kind of like, be ahead of shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that we kind of like were able to bring it together in that type of way easy. Cause
So, when did you realize that this was like a real relationship? Like, we was like, okay, this like serious because like at 21, like I had a boyfriend at 21, but I don't know, like I remember being that young and then like having like relationships and you think like, oh, okay, I got a boyfriend, but literally like I had never thought about like I'm gonna marry somebody. Like, like I'm gonna have a family with this person. Like I think it was just all in fun. And then like I know it switched in our relationship. Like it was a different level of being comfortable. Like
yeah,
it was different in the relationship with you. And because then we moved in together, like I had never lived with a boyfriend before. So that was my first relationship of living with someone. And then it just oh no, I just told him earlier, like it felt like so much longer than what it was now in retrospect, thinking about it. Like it felt so much longer.
yeah,
Like we were living together, like we said before a year. Like, so it happened quick, but then right after that, like I think it was like 6, 8 months later, we were pregnant. Like it was crazy. Like it seemed like a really long time then, but now it was like, damn, that shit happened fast. Like you became a father at 23, but we were together. I got with you when you was 21. Like that happened fast. Like
yeah.
what the hell? And then we were engaged and we've been married now for 4 years. Like I feel like I stole his youth, but at the same time, like I never realized that I was so young either. Then not that I'm saying I have any regrets because I don't. It's just that you just never know when it's your time. That's why he was asking, like, well, what is the right time to get married? I don't think that I would have waited. I would have wanted to wait any longer or wanted to wait any longer to have my kids. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I enjoy my 30s. Like, I enjoy the age they are now. I enjoy the freedom that I get because I spent my 20s pregnant and in the house.
I just think like honestly, when you find that person, you wanna be with them forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just how it is.
But how did
Like,
you know? That was my question.
how,
How did you
oh, I
know?
mean, honestly,
Because you asked me were you twice.
starting out, it I always say that it was love at first sight, right? Because like I saw her first, and once I saw her, it was kind of like I didn't know who she was, but I just wanted her from the time that I saw her. Like literally, as soon as I just saw a picture of her, and that was like enough. You feel me? Like I was like, yeah, I gotta like I have to, you know, see who she is. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I think that was something that was like different about how I was at that age because I really wasn't like bucking that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers will catch me outside or whatever, and then like we'll just it just managed to happen. Like, oh yeah, I know him, or that type of shit, or whatever. But I never really like was shooting like that. You know what I mean? So I got past that stage, and I think that our first like one or two conversations, it was so different that and we talked for a long fucking time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like people don't really have conversations like that no more. I think people miss that shit. Like when you were younger, like
Go
you
to
would be on
sleep
the
on the
phone with a
phone.
motherfucker, yeah, like you'd like go to sleep and wake up on the phone. It was like kind of like one of them situations that night. And that night we literally were like talking, and we had like hung up for a second and then got back on the phone, and before you know it, like shit, I had literally went in the room and closed my door. My homies them in the crib and all type of shit. They walking around. I don't want to lock their ass out. Told their ass leave me alone. People coming to the door like tell me to come outside and shit. I'm like, I'm gonna come out in a minute. Like I'm on the phone. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was one of those type of vibes. So it was like it was different. It was definitely natural as fuck. Like it felt like I knew her like literally way longer than I had ever known anybody.
So
And
that's
that was
how
the
you
first
knew.
conversation.
That's how you knew you wanted to keep me.
Yes, I know. That's how I knew I wanted to pursue you. How I
Okay.
knew I wanted to keep you was your character. How you love me, how you ask me certain things about myself, like that you nobody had ever asked, but you actually wanted to know. So like at first I was like hesitant, how I was, and that's like that's how I am with anybody when I first meet them. Like I'm real kind of like standoffish. I don't really like give you a lot of me because what I'm saying, like it's just not something that I like to do. But we was just sitting like chop it up or whatever, kind of like on some friend shit, and I felt comfortable enough to be like myself around her. That was something that was different because in most cases, like and niggas be having to put on like a certain image to be around a certain level of a female. At least you think you do, and it kind of be like something that make a motherfucker feel like that's the type of level you gotta be on to kind of fuck with a person on that type of level. And I think me being able to be myself and not even have to be like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a silly, goofy motherfucker, anyways. But in the same sense, like, I was able to like let my guard down. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell her like what type of shit I was into, and she was able to understand that shit and instantly like, well, I'm fucking with you for who you are overall. Period. That was different, because most motherfuckers judge you or they typically like, want you off of, certain shit. And it was never like, I never felt like she had like no ulterior motive of fucking with me. Like, I never, it was more like genuinely like, I love you and fuck with you for you. No matter if you got money, no matter if you got anything, like, it was times that I didn't have shit. And that was like other reasons why I knew like it was definitely solid because it was times that I really didn't have shit. Like, I had literally got down to my lowest at some point, and like that was a time where we got the closest. Like I was at my lowest, you feel me? What I'm saying, but she was still like kind of like coming out of a situation where she was getting into her own individuality of her own, and I was just kind of going through a situation personally myself where shit just wasn't really right, and we were able to connect and literally move in together, and from that point our life elevated. Like the shit just took off. So I think like that type of shit all made me know like I didn't have to question you. I didn't have to question if I wanted to be with you, period. Like I knew for a fact like that was a guarantee. Like all else failed, like for sure I know you gonna be there. Like so that's type of shit that, I think that people should look for. If you got somebody like that, then you definitely just don't want to let that shit go because it'd be a lot of temptations and shit out here. And when you young, like I said, I was very young though. Don't get it twisted. Like I was literally 26 years old, like I just said. So at 26 years old, the typical nigga that's 26 in this day and age is in a fucking strip club throwing bottles and getting it going. You feel me? Like, and that never was really like my end all do all. My thing was, let's get this money, let's build some businesses, let's take care of our family, let's like, let's build some generational wealth type shit, and we gonna do it together. Like, it ain't gonna be like just me doing it by myself and you just reap the benefits, or you just out here goddamn it doing everything and I'm just sitting back watching. No, we gonna put our head together and do this shit together. And that's just like I said, that's how you build, a true, solid foundation, and that's how you know you got the right motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, so you had never like thought about ever being married when you was younger?
When
I
I was
know
younger,
I
I used to
haven't.
say I did. I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's crazy because even if my daddy was to hit this actual recording right now, he'd be like, I remember this boy telling me that shit. But I told him early on. I used to watch my daddy. He was married, and he actually was married twice, and the second marriage, after seeing what he went through with the first one, and then him getting married and was even talking about getting married again, I was like, hell no. I will never get married. I will never let a motherfucker put me in a situation like that. I would never ever feel that hurt that you felt. Like that shit did. And he used to be like, oh no, trust me, you gonna know when it's the right person, and you say that now, and you just gotta live a little, you know. And like I said, then I was like, hell no, like you sound dumb as hell. Like you a sucker, your ass a goofball, and you want to be on this lovey-dovey ass shit. Like I'm finna be out here, like you know what I'm saying. Like I'm finna be in this shit, but I truly get where you coming from now. Like when you really found a solid motherfucker, you don't want to shut up with nobody. You don't want to even miss another day or moment without them. You feel me? Like you truly want to be with that motherfucker. Like every day, every minute, every hour, you thinking like what we can do to be like better. Like because it's like I said, certain shit just kind of get played out. You know what I'm saying? Like you get your taste of certain things, but this shit all the lifestyle is temporary. You know what I mean? Like all of the club, the facade, like most motherfuckers want to be rappers and different things like that. And if the shit fall through, cool. You feel me? But in the same sense though, if that's not and that shit don't pan out, what do you do when you shit it on everybody else along the way? You know what I mean? Like you got this solid woman, or you got her like, and she does everything for you. She give you everything that you could possibly need and want. She take care of your kids. She do all everything. Like she there for you emotionally, all those different things. And then you literally turn around and think that because but it's bad bitches out there though. I can get these bad bitches. Like I mean, yeah, she bad, but shit, it's other bad bitches that's just as bad as her. Like you end up missing out on that connection though. Because yeah, it's better bitches out there though, but are you gonna still have that same connection with those better bitches? No, because those bad bitches come with stipulations.
And then that's the thing too. It bring me to my next question. I was watching I think neighborhood talk posted Kendra G. She had like a singles thing she do on her Instagram
Right.
live, and the dude was just talking about what he wants in a woman. But typically, when people saying what they want in somebody, they only talking about the physical attributes, like
Yeah.
like
That's how
but
you know how much a lot of people think.
what about other stuff? Like I understand, like definitely the physical has you attracted to somebody, but does that help you stay? Because what if they don't got shit to offer you on the inside? Like you know what I mean? Like you don't you. He said the dude said like he want to aid and he want her to not have no kids, but he had 3 kids and 3 baby mamas, and one baby was 8 months old, and that he want a woman with no kids because he want her to just pick up and go when he want to go, like if he want to just drop off and go to Miami.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, you 31, like at what point are you gonna be realistic, like with real live women that are not Instagram girls? And even Instagram girls still got schedules to keep. They can't just drop everything and go all the time. People have real responsibilities, stuff to take care of. Like, I just don't know where men like that get off on just the physical, because you're not really looking for a connection. You looking for a
You know
sex
what? And I mean, I'm
buddy.
gonna be honest with you. The fucked up part about it is in this day and age, it's crazy because most people don't care about that shit.
No, don't
Like,
care
you
about
know
no
what I mean? Like,
insides.
it's like it's more so because everybody think that everybody's out for something specific. You know what I mean? So you got this guy who think that this girl only really around because of his money, right? Because that's what niggas always say.
Hmm.
For the females that's listening and shit like that, that's what niggas say, right? That bitch just want my money. You feel me? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck that bitch, and that type of shit. That's what they think. And then for the women, they think he just want to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't got time for that, right? Because that's what as women say. Like, I ain't got time for that. Nigga
But
ain't
the
just gonna be
catch,
fucking on me. You
but
know
the
what I'm saying?
catch to that is this: men don't want women who just want their money, but these men flash their money in their cars to get these women. And women say they don't want men who just want them for their body, yet all they expose is their butts
But
and breasts.
how? But this is my thing, okay? Right. So I get right. Don't get me wrong. A lot of women do deal with a lot of insecurities. So I'm gonna say that first. So, like some women don't like their breasts. Some women don't like their booty. Some women don't like their nose. Some women don't like their cheekbones. Whatever, right? And then, they can get all of those things fixed. So, yes, slightly it is, for the most part, it is for them. But I don't like when women also say, like, same way how men say, yeah, basically they doing all this shit, cars, cribs, clothes, and all that shit, trying to stun or whatever to make a bitch think that's what they want. The woman also goes to get her body done in that same sense for that attention. Like you go and take these pictures and you post it on social media after you just spent tens and twenties of thousands of dollars on this surgery, and then for you to basically say like, oh, he just want to fuck. Well, that's all you showing. You did not show all this body before you went and got this surgery, but now you got this surgery, you showing all this body, but you're saying that's not what you got to offer. What is it that you have to offer then? I'm sorry.
And that's not saying that all women who get their body done are looking for attention, or all women that get their body done are looking for men to want them. But in some cases, people do that so that they can look like other people, so that they can get some attention. And, like just like the same way as some dudes who literally go buy drips so they can get attention from.
Because niggas do it all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't understand what I'm saying. Like I said, I please understand what I'm saying. I don't want to offend nobody, because if you got your body done and you love your body, trust me, do your shit. But what I mean is like, in the same sense that, a person go get their body done and they want to be able to be seen and they like how they body look or whatever, if it's for you, it's for you. We get it. But if you advertising it and you advertising it, so I feel like women have like a certain code, right? Where they do shit like, I'm advertising it, but I ain't advertising it to you broke niggas. So you may not be the right one for me, so stay the fuck out my DM. But that don't mean if the right motherfucker come in that motherfucker that you ain't gonna be like, oh, yeah, what's up, shit, I ain't know shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, let's be honest, ladies, you feel me? You know how that shit go. Like, you may not be advertising it, and you may not be trying to, like, bring motherfuckers in your DM and let motherfuckers do that type of shit. But like I said, when the right person does do that, you are not as offended by that person coming at you in that way, because
absolutely
you feel like
true. Because
I'm just saying,
it's like, okay, so you mean like what we was talking about the other day when you were saying like, oh, the girl was saying like, oh, I want some breakfast, and then some nigga hop in and say like, oh, I'll take you to breakfast, and she like, no, I'm good, but because he the wrong dude,
looking ass
yes,
nigga,
because he the wrong
he can't
dude.
take you to breakfast, and it's on him. He's still saying it, so it's free.
No, because she was throwing that bait out for that one nigga and hoping that he was gonna catch that fish out there, that worm.
Jump in the DM and say,
yes,
you want to go to breakfast?
Yes, she was waiting. She was throwing out subtle hints for him, but somebody else picked it up, and she like, no, not you. Put it back.
But you see how that go though? Ain't that's kind of crazy though? Like,
put it back. It wasn't
like,
for you.
It's kind of like a pick and choose thing. What you should be picky, baby. Don't
settle.
Don't settle. Don't just take anything, because a lot of these.
But then sometimes don't pass up on all the little frogs, because you never know. That may be like the best, especially if like, I just think you should give people, you should step out of your dorm and stop going for the dude too flashy and got all the hoes. Like, I never understood that. Like, why do flocks of women chase one dude and he got all the hoes? Like, what do you think? You're going to be like the one he chooses and that makes you the best hoe? Like, I don't understand that. Like, it shouldn't, if you got to choose between me and her, pick her. Pick her. Like, if it has to be a choice, if I'm an option, I'm never an option. Pick her. Like, that's how you should carry yourself. It should not be like, oh, pick me. I'm gonna chase him. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna put up front. I'm gonna make all his meals and fold all his clothes and make his laundry stark white so he can love me the best, because I'm in a competition with the next.
You have to first understand, like I said, you gotta love yourself enough. That's first and foremost. Like, because how the hell you expecting, if you love yourself enough, then you're going to automatically set standards. You're going to automatically set boundaries. You're going to automatically have, like, your bar set high. So when certain characteristics are, being portrayed around you and shit, you know how motherfuckers be like, a motherfucker give off a certain energy. You catch on to that shit and automatically go with your first mind. I think a lot of times we as people, we be so infatuated with how a motherfucker look and what they got that you ignore signs. Like, how the
Yes.
fuck are you ignoring
All the
signs?
red
Like,
flags.
how you ignoring the shit
You
because
think it's a circus.
you ignoring it because oh, he got a nice car, oh, he got jewelry, oh, he got money, oh, I heard this
And he
about
buy
him.
me gifts.
Same thing as with the female. Oh, she thick as hell. Oh, I heard she got some good pussy. Oh, I heard she got them this. Oh, yeah, you know
And
that
she
bitch got them
fine.
got her own woo, and she got this. Like, you know what I mean? You are so blinded by all of these things that you ignoring all of the shit that's right in front of you. This nigga a hoe, she a hoe, whatever the case may be. It's right in front
Well,
of
they
you.
disloyal,
Or they
no
petty,
morals. They
shiesty.
disrespectful.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these different things, like petty.
They
like,
don't get
different
along
things.
with nobody.
Exactly. All of these things, and you sit back and you watch this shit in front of you, but you ignore it because you say it ain't me. But the thing is this: it's not you yet. The person is who they is. They not gonna change that. It just happened to not happen to you yet because you ain't put them in that space to be on that type of time with you. So if this person a good person, that good person gonna be a good person no matter what situation you really put them in because it's just in them. But if this motherfucker just ain't shit, then he just don't know how to be shit or she just don't know how to be shit. It don't matter what situations you put. Watch how they treat their friends. Watch how they treat their parents or they fucking sisters and brothers and different things like that or whatever. Like, just watch how people move, and that'll tell you all you need to know.
And definitely, like, that's a warning to, like, get out of any toxic relationship. Like, you know, I know toxic is supposed to be, like, cute or whatever. Like,
It's only
no,
so cute though.
it's only cute for so long
Yeah,
until that shit
it's only
is
so much of it that's
real because people be really crazy. I know everybody has been seeing all these reports with all these domestic violence and, you know, like, it's crazy. I've never maybe because we didn't have social media growing up, I've never seen so many
That
murders.
shit is fucked
You
up
know,
right
it's
now.
like
Seriously.
I've never seen it. That doesn't mean that it wasn't happening before I noticed, but I've never seen so many, and it's actually frightening. You know, people who are my age and they have children, like, you know, when they just in domestic violent relationships and they saw red flags a long time ago and they just didn't leave and now they gone. You know, and because you just never know how crazy someone is, but when they show you once and they scare you, you should stay away because it's just going to keep coming. Because some people are just not accountable for their actions and want to blame you, and some people are really just sick, like, and violent. Like, you got to be really careful. It's really scary, men and women, because there are women out here killing their boyfriends and
Yeah, for
stabbing
sure.
them in their sleep. It's not just women who subdue to domestic violence. Men also succumb to it too. So
Yeah, and I mean, first, let's definitely we want to say that we do not condone any
no,
domestic violence.
any domestic violence.
We basically feel like this is something that it happens a lot in our community. You know what I'm saying? And it's happening all over. So it's happening in different races and everything. But you want to be able to have a relationship where you don't have to have that type of shit going on. You know
Yeah,
what
if
I'm
y'all
saying?
gotta hit each
Yeah, like
other and verbally, you know, and berate each other, like if it has to come to that, like where it's volatile, then you guys should not be together. Like, love does not hurt in that way. It does
yeah,
not have to physically hurt you in that way. You know, like, love is hard and love is definitely patient and it takes time, and then sometimes, you know, it can't hurt if it, you know, like if you losing someone,
right.
or, you know, like it's just, it can cause a breakup, you know, because you love, like that type of hurt. They don't mean physical pain. So no one should have to deal with that, man or woman. If me and your girlfriend out here and she getting upset and she thinking that she's gonna slap you, that shit not okay. Like, you should be able to talk it out like
Yeah,
adults.
for
Adults
sure.
talk. Like, you teach your children not to hit, and you don't want nobody hitting your baby, so you shouldn't be hitting somebody else's baby. You know, and that's not saying that we've never, you know, dealt with certain
Nobody's
things. It's
perfect,
just
like at the end
definitely
of the day,
growth.
but you want to be able to grow, and I feel like it's our job as like I said, host to be able to give you all that part, like for sure. Like domestic is something that's serious, and it only takes one little small thing to make some situation
Go out of
go out of
control.
control, and it's out of your hands. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation like that over somebody that you say you love or got love for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because no matter what, at the end of the day, we can say we love each other enough to let each other go if it comes to something like that. Because if we really love each other how we say we do, then we don't want to hurt each other anyways. We just don't want to be around each other right now. We don't want to be in this certain situation or space right now. So, like, that's just something that we just wanted to touch bases on real quick, and just speak on for everybody that's possibly going through that or that may encounter something like that.
Yeah. So.
But as far as the anniversary, another thing that I think that's important is understanding, like, you want to be able to keep the growing stage open in your relationship. Like, so, like, yeah, we are 4 years in, but 10 years in overall, like, in a relationship. But every day I feel like it's a new journey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it unlocks a new, level with us or whatever, and how we communicate or how much we grow. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that as you be in a relationship with a person, you should be able to feel like you've grown with them, or that y'all growing overall, like, consistently. And I think that that's something that we both do for each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that you all, if you are in a situation currently, need to always try to do for that person that you with. Like, try to fuel them, give them words of encouragement, let them know what they can be, and also what you want them to be for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, us having those conversations with each other and being able to talk to each other like that, like her telling me how she feel. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really like that at first, and that was because I really only wanted to see shit from my side, like how I felt about it. Like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but like that's not who I'm trying to be right now. So once I got out of my own way, it was able to, like, meet her in the middle, as far as like understanding what she wanted in a relationship and what I was needing to bring, supply. We was able to, meet on that level, and that shit actually helped us a lot more. That's why I say, like, this is 4 years in, but just imagine where we're gonna be in the next 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that you want to look forward to. Like, you don't have to fight with a motherfucker for loving them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't hurt. Like she said, this shit should be easy. This shit should be like every day. Like, I mean, not every. Trust me, understand this. We are not fucking perfect.
He get on my
We go
nerves.
at it like cats and dogs sometimes. Like, when I say, like, literally, like, blow the fuck out of each other, we'll blow the fuck out of each other. But so every day is not gonna be perfect. Please understand.
No,
that.
we have
Everybody think that, and don't think that just because if you gonna get married, that after getting married, that shit just gonna work out. If it's an issue in the relationship early on, and if you do not address that shit before getting married, that issue is going to go into the marriage. Understand that.
Yes.
It is not going to erase itself just because you're getting married.
Head-on.
Just because you're getting married does not mean that that situation is going to erase itself, and that that person is going to automatically just think that, oh yeah, now it's time to fix that. No, if we don't address this, then we can't fix it. Like, literally, if we can't put this shit on the table, be able to come to an understanding and be able to get past this, well, we can, like, have an understanding. There's no way that we're going to be able to take this into a marriage. So marriage is not a Band-Aid, baby, at all. None of y'all don't think that, okay? Because that's not the case. It's not a Band-Aid. You cannot think that putting it over it is going to fix your situation.
It's surgical. You need a surgery to fix it.
You really, really need to actually work from the inside out on that situation. And then that's going to make your situation work in your marriage. So, like, if you're wondering how we able to do it or how this was possible, it's possible because we work from the inside out.
Ain't no dust under our rugs.
No. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what makes it possible. That's what makes it so strong, because, like I said, that's some shit that we got past. You know what I mean? Like, it was able to work from its way in and all the way out. So now we able to shine how we shine and, do the shit that we do. That's why our relationship's so tight. Because we got past all those stages, but that's because we put all that shit on the table. Like, it wasn't no hiding none of that shit, because if we didn't address it, then we was never going to be able to, be on this level. So all that shit got put on the table, and that's why we solid. Like, it ain't nothing that can break us, because it's nothing that can come in between something that, has that type of relationship and bond. Nobody can fuck that up, because you ain't gonna want to lose it. So that's what make it work, you feel me? But that's when you know you got the right person, though, because you don't want to lose it. So you're willing to compromise and make shit work, you know what I'm saying? So,
and we are back.
Yes, we are back. So, look, we have our relationship box. And in our relationship
It's
box,
a game.
It's a game, and basically it gives us 150 prompts that basically asks us just a series of questions or whatever about like different relationships in our lives or personal relationships. However, we are only going to do our couple relationships, so we only have 3. First card out of the 3, I'm gonna let you pick the first one, and then we're gonna go ahead and expound on it.
So you gonna look at him? You a cheater.
I'm gonna let you pick the first one though.
It says, "Is divorce an option?"
Is divorce an option?
No.
No.
Till death.
Divorce is not an option.
Not for us, anyway.
No. So I mean, if you are in a situation and it's like I said, it's unbearable. There's no working it out. You know you can't get through it, and you know you've tried.
You should have thought about it before you got married.
Try though, at least
unless
try.
it's abuse.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, give it the yes, exactly. Unless it's abuse. If it's abuse, then just leave the situation. But if it's anything outside of that or whatever, weigh your options. Give yourself the chance to really, see yourself through it. And then if there's no growth in that situation, let it go. It ain't no sense of sitting in it. Some things literally aren't meant to grow and they won't grow. So just leave that shit where it's at. And we're going to go ahead and get to this next one.
I'm picking again? I get to pick?
My pick.
You can't pick. You know what they say.
I didn't read them.
Oh, okay. Well, let me do it.
Okay.
You don't pick your own cards. It's such a cheater. Come on, pick.
All right. Who do you see yourself surrounded by when you're old and gray?
It's coming soon. He already getting gray.
No way, no how.
Y'all like his hair? I color his hair. Speaking of grays, you like it?
Comment, like, share, subscribe.
I did this. I did a good job. He was like freaking out like a baby. He's a baby. But anyway, who do you see yourself surrounded by when you're old and gray?
Well, when I'm old and gray, I see myself with you in our big house.
Getting on my nerves.
My kids will be out of my house.
Coming to visit.
Careers and doing what's best for them. I will still have my dogs for sure. If not the ones I currently have, I'll still have some dogs. I just want to basically, honestly, just my kids and, hopefully I'll have grandkids at that point, and I'll be able to kind of like have them in the house with me or whatever, or kind of like, growing and like teaching them, kind of like what, I would want them to know and shit. Just basically working towards, a retirement, a comfortable retirement. Shit. That's what I see myself, at grade. What about you?
Same, surrounded by you, my kids, my little niece that my sister is about to have. Of course, my sister will still be there, but hopefully, my kids will have some kids, and I'm sure we will have some dogs. We'll still probably be breeding. We'll be like some of our breeder friends that we know,
right, exactly.
older and breeding dogs. Yeah. So, that's how I see it. And that's crazy because like we said earlier, in my 20s, I don't know. It's just like when you're 20, you don't see yourself older than 20.
Right.
It's so weird.
It's so much more to life. Like, do not get discouraged at this age. Right. Like, if you are in your late 20s, if you confused right now, if you don't know what's going to happen, do not get discouraged. I promise you, shit is going to change.
Get better.
It's going to work in your favor.
For as long as you work
Go in your direction. Go in your path. Work towards what you're going to do. That's where you're going to meet that person or whatever it is that you need to get to. But you need to go in that direction. If you're not going in that direction, you cannot ever, you can't get what you're trying to get if you don't go in the direction of what you need to go. So, if that person or, if you're looking for that right person, go in the direction of what you think, is best for you as far as your career and things like that. And I think that's probably where you end up meeting that person.
Yep. Last question. Okay. Can our relationship work if we disagree about fundamental issues? No. I don't think if we disagreed about fundamental things, our relationship will work.
Fundamental things,
I think,
meaning like, you know, how we raise our kids, how we, you know, relationship wise, how we treat each other, all those things. Like, so in that case, if we're not on the same page
and priorities,
with that,
and
no,
then we won't work.
won't work.
Then we won't be compatible. And I think we would have figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that is it for tonight's episode, you guys. Like we
Thank
said,
y'all for tuning in.
it is our anniversary, so we got some stuff to get into.
The big
so 4 years. Next year we're gonna renew our vows in St. Thomas. So
y'all definitely stay tuned to that one, because we are definitely gonna record it and it will be on our channel. So all of our loyal listeners, stay tuned, because we going
please,
to St. Thomas.
please like, share, subscribe. If you love our podcast, please leave us some comments, give us some feedback, guys. We love you. Have a good night.
And we out.